All right, burgeoning viewers, one quick note for you. A subscriber a day in October. If we hit 31 subscribers in 31 days, one lucky subscriber will walk away with the entire Modern Horizons art card series. Additionally, a comment a day. Any subscriber that leaves a comment in every video posted by MTG Burgeoning during the month of October will become eligible for the November Pack Wars. On November 1st, a list of all subscribers that left a comment on every MTG Burgeoning video during the month of October will be compiled, and from this list, one subscriber will be randomly chosen to participate in the November Pack Wars. So hope for peace, but prepare for war. Welcome back, MTG Burgeoning community. You are here for our continuing series of building a budget deck with Isamaru, Hound of Konda. All right, so welcome back, everybody. Here we go. We are going to continue our deck, our EDH Commander deck, with our general leader of Isamaru, Hound of Konda. 2/2 vanilla for 1 white. And we are going to add the next 12 spells to this deck, which are going to be all creatures. And before we get on to that, let's bring everyone up to speed. For anyone that's missed any of the previous installments of this Isamaru series, you can click any of the links below, and it'll bring you right up to speed. And as a quick once-over, these are the cards already included in this Isamaru budget build. Sigarda's Aid, SRAM Senior Edificer, Danitha Capuchin Paragon, Pure Steel Paladin, Mesa Enchantress, Open the Armory, Open the Vaults, Argivian Find, Sun Titan, All That Glitters, Hero's Blade, Gift of Immortality, Grafted Warrior, Ronin War Club, Blackblade Reforged, Stratus Scythe, Luxodon Warhammer, Helm of the Gods, Mirror Shield, Trailblazer's Boots, Prowler's Helm, Haunted Cloak, Chariot of Victory, Fire Shrieker, Armored Ascension, Ethereal Armor, Spirit Mantle, Hyena Umbra, Blessing, Griff's Boon, Sentinel's Eyes, Asha's Favor, Unquestioned Authority, Flicker Form, Inviolability, and Spirit Loop. Those are the cards already included. We started off the series with 12 essential cards that make up the core of this Isamaru deck. Then from there we transitioned into 12 equipment spells with a total overall budget of less than $10 for those 12 spells. And then we carried that with 12 aura spells, again with a combined budget of no more than $10. And then we did the same thing last week as a bridge to this week in talking about our 12 creatures. Again, the combined total of these 12 creatures had to come in at less than $10, and we just made it just under the $10 mark at $9 and change. And like we spoiled last week, the first creature of this 12 was going to be Aven Mind Sensor and our Bank Buster. This one cost us about 25% of our $10 budget for these 12 creatures, but it was well worth the investment. 2 and a white, 2/1 Flash Flyer, and if an opponent would search their library, that player searches the top 4 cards of that library instead. Imagine flashing this into play once a fetch land is played, or imagine flashing this into play in response to a Demonic Tutor or a Vampiric Tutor. Aven Mind Sensor can also carry equipment well, and it can be enchanted. It has the evasion that we crave if Isamaru was otherwise incapacitated. It's the absolute perfect inclusion for this subset of creatures. So next up are the other 11 creatures that make up these 12 additions to this stage of our Isamaru EDH Commander deck. And these creatures needed to have some combination of evasion and some combination of offensive capabilities or defensive capabilities. And they all had to have a CMC of 3 or less. So let's get started. That was number 1 with Aven Mind Sensor. And number 2 is Containment Priest. For 1 and a white, we have a 2/2 again with Flash. Doesn't have any evasion, but the defensive capability is very, very good. If a non-token creature would enter the battlefield and it wasn't cast, exile it instead. There are a couple of spells in our deck where Containment Priest will hurt us. Sun Titan, bringing a creature from our graveyard onto the battlefield. Flicker Form, that would be trouble for us as well. So we have to take the stance of this could cause us a little bit of harm, but this could cause our opponents so much more harm. And with that kind of balancing act established, I believe Containment Priest is justified for its inclusion in this deck. All right, next up, number 3. Bounty Agent. For 1 and a white, we get a 2/2 Vigilance Human Soldier, and we can tap and sacrifice Bounty Agent to destroy target legendary permanent that's an artifact, creature, or enchantment. If you're an EDH fan, you know how many artifacts, creatures, and enchantments that are legendary that are extremely problematic in our format. Not problematic to the point where, it hoses the games completely, but, problematic to the to that controller's opponents for sure. And with a deck that is, embracing a budget build, we are not going to have some of the more premier removal spells that are available to us in white. So if we can get that on a 2/2 Vigilant body that can also carry equipment and become enchanted, if Isamaru can't, push through for the last of lethal commander damage, then including Bounty Agent is a good idea. Okay, next up, we have Hushwing Griff. For 2 and a white, we have another flash creature. Come on, camera, get in the game. There we go. All right, 2/2 flash and flying, and creatures entering the battlefield don't cause abilities to trigger. Now, this is similar to Containment Priest. This is a card in Hushwing Griff that the capability of it hurting us is possible. We have Hero's Blade. We have Ronin's War Club. I mean, these are some things that look for an enter the battlefield trigger from our creatures. Hushwing Griff is going to take that away from them. Although it may hurt us a little, this could hurt our opponents a lot. I mean, there are entire EDH archetypes built around ETB triggers. Hello, Yarok the Desecrated is one of those commanders that this creature would absolutely hose. And because of that, Hushwing Griff is valuable enough to include in this subset of creatures. All right, number 5, and we're going to Ravnica Allegiance for this creature. We have Tithe Taker. Okay, so the evasion is not immediately apparent. However, it has the Afterlife mechanic, Afterlife 1. So when Tithe Taker dies, we create a 1/1 flying spirit token that's white and black. So it's a 1 and a white for a 2/1 human soldier. And during our turn, spells our opponents cast cost 1 more to cast, and abilities our opponents activate cost 1 more to activate unless they're mana abilities. So this, this form of taxation can help slow down our opponent's ability to react during our turn. And Tithe Taker, with the Afterlife mechanic of providing a nice flying spirit token as a, not 2 for 1, maybe a 1 for 2, gives us the ability to slap some equipment on it and fly over the creatures of our opponent's battlefield. All right, we're hitting the halfway point, and finally we get to a creature that is just perfect for what we're looking for. Evasion for offense and a defensive capability, and we're going to Ixalan for Kinjali Sunwing. 2 and a white for a 2/3 flying dinosaur, and creatures our opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. This is a perfect representation of we want this subset of creatures to be. We want the ability to attack with them if needed, but they also have to have a built-in defensive strategy to help, keep our opponents at bay. And Kinjali Sunwing, in addition to Aven Mind Sensor, both accomplish that feat. And here's another one, and this time we're going to War of the Spark, and that's for Tomic, Distinguished Advocist. Double white, we have a 2/3 flyer, which is also a legendary human advisor. And lands on the battlefield and land cards in graveyards can't be the targets of spells or abilities your opponents control. And our opponents can't play land cards from graveyards. So Ramunap Excavator, Crucible of Worlds, those are going to be a couple of cards that Tomic is going to really neutralize. And plus, with the 2/3 flying, it can also carry equipment and become enchanted, helping to, carry forth the work that Isamaru will set out to accomplish. All right, creature number 8. Here we go. Shadows over Innistrad, we're going with the Bygone Bishop. For 2 and a white, we have a 2/3 flyer. And whenever we cast a creature spell with converted mana cost 3 or less, we investigate. And to investigate, we put a colorless clue artifact token onto the battlefield with tap 2, sacrifice this artifact, draw a card. So this is one of the ways in which we can gain some card advantage. We're playing mono white, so our ability to do that is somewhat limited because we're in mono white. And Bygone Bishop, if you check over on the entire deck list that we reviewed earlier, or clicking on the link in the comments in the description, clicking on the link in the description below at the tappedout.net page, you'll notice that every single creature in this deck thus far, aside from Sun Titan, has a CMC of 3 or less, including our commander, who is just 1 white. And a note to that, every time we cast our commander, regardless of the amount of commander tax that is applicable to its casting cost, that is an additional payment. Its converted mana cost, Isamaru's converted mana cost, will always be 1. So it will always trigger Bygone Bishop. So again, we have a 2/3 flyer that can strap on equipment, and it gives us card advantage. All right, our bottom third creatures. Here we go. Core Set 2019, Remorseful Cleric. 1 and a white, we have a 2/1 flyer. Sacrifice it, exile all cards from target player's graveyard. EDH players don't generally utilize their graveyards for any types of shenanigans or archetypes or anything, right? No, that's a rarity. Well, Remorseful Cleric will remove someone's graveyard. All right, number 10. We have Knight of the White Orchid. For double white, it's a 2/2 first strike, and when it enters the battlefield, if an opponent controls more lands than we do, we may search our library for a plains card, put it onto the battlefield, and then shuffle our library. So there isn't really a great deal of defensive capabilities here, aside from the first strike, and that's not really granting a great deal of evasion either. However, with a way in which to get a land from our library onto the battlefield in mono white, as long as the restriction of one of our opponents having more lands than us is apparent, including Knight of the White Orchid is, I think it's a must. I think we have to have that in there just to try to make sure that we can ramp the best we can. Ramping card draw. Card draw is a good segue to our next creature, number 11, Mentor of the Meek. 2 and a white, we have a 2/3 human soldier, no evasion, no defensive capabilities. So why the heck is it in here? Well, whenever another creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield under our control, we may pay 1. And if we do, we draw a card. If you're noticing the trend here, Isamaru, power is 2. 2/2, I think the Bygone Bishop is 2. Tomic is 2. Kinjali is a 2/3. Tithe Taker is a 2/2. Hushwing Griff is a 2/3, I believe. 2/1. Bounty Agent is a 2/2. Containment Priest is a 2/1. Aven Mind Sensor is a 2/1. Mentor of the Meek. Pretty much every single creature in this deck, aside from Sun Titan, will be triggered when they come in the battlefield. We pay 1, we draw a card. Again, mono white. We're trying to make sure we can draw as many cards as we can. We're going to have a quick deck, lots of cheap spells. We want to make sure we keep replenishing our hand as quickly as we can. And this is it. This is card number 12 of this subset of editions. And we are going back to Avacyn Restored. For the Silverblade Paladin, 1 in double white, it has the Soul Bond mechanic. We may pair this creature with another unpaired creature when either enters the battlefield. They remain paired for as long as we control both of them. As long as Silverblade Paladin is paired with another creature, both creatures have Double Strike. Double Strike can be an offensive ability and it can be defensive, and Silverblade Paladin can provide that to itself and any other creature it's paired with. And that is creature number 12. And there you have it, MTG Burgeoning community. We are one giant step closer to completing this deck. In preparation for next week's video, we are looking to finish off the spells of this deck. So leave any suggestions for the next 12 cards, maybe. We'll say around 12. Say looking for some ramp, looking for some removal, looking for anything that can help solidify what we're doing here. And remember, we're staying in our budget build, so these 12 spells should come in at less than $10. The less is the best. This is MTG Burgeoning. Go forth and enjoy this day. Want to become a Pack Wars combatant? 4 easy steps. Step number 1. Click on the link below in the description or go to www.buymeacoffee.com/MTGBurgeoning. Step number 2. Select either membership or support. Membership will enroll you into Pack Wars for $5 each month. Support will cost $5 for 1 month. Step number 3, complete payment information. The name you use will appear on the site. Use your real name, use your YouTube handle, or use no name at all and be anonymous. Be sure to include your email address in the information. Step number 4, most importantly, prepare for war.